quiet title. So a quiet title suit comes up every once in a while when there's problem, encumbrances or clouds are found while you're owning the property or perhaps before you're buying a property. Let me give an example. I'm aware of a development that occurred where I'm from, originally from Neapolitan, Wisconsin. Neapolitan is located in what's called the Fox River Valley in Wisconsin. It's northeastern Wisconsin. And that area experienced a lot of growth since I graduated from high school. So what used to be agricultural field development or retail or whatever, right down along Highway 41. And there's a farm out there. And so been in possession of the family for years, and a mom or an aunt was in possession, passed away, left the farm were two either nephews or sons. These guys were brothers. And then years go by, they were young, they worked the farm and so forth. And then it comes time they want to develop the property. And so there's going to be some title transfer involved. And so they go to sell the property and realize that the court says, the public record says, you're not the owner. What do you mean we're not the owner? Well, it says that, Mabel's the owner. Oh, Mabel passed away. Yeah, she passed away several years ago. She's buried back there in the Pac 40. We had a nice little ceremony for her. Not according to the public record. Well, what do you mean? No death certificate. Holy mackerel. What are we going to do? A quiet title suit's the perfect thing. So what do you do in a quiet title suit? You sue everybody. You say, if you have an interest in this property, public notice is given, actual notice is given to the neighbors. If you have an interest in this property, bring evidence of that interest to the court, submit the evidence, and then we'll let a court decide who's who and who's got an interest where. So guess what? In that particular story I was telling, Mabel never showed up since she had passed away. So the court said, okay, quiet title suit. She didn't show up. I'm going to order the coroner to draw up a death certificate for Aunt Mabel. That was never done. Draw up a death certificate for her. Record that death certificate. Now the two sons or the two cousins, whatever they were, two nephews, they possess the property and they can now transfer the property. That's a real life example of when I bumped into a quiet title suit. Often they have to do with boundaries. So here you're trying to sell this 40 acres and you've got some neighbors to the north and the south, and there's a parkland to the, I guess that'd be my east. Maybe the way you're looking at it might be your west. I don't know. This kind of often happens with public lands. It's more common with public lands. All right? And so time goes by, time to sell, and all of a sudden you find out that the park believes it owns that portion of your 40 acres. By whatever means, some old legal description or whatever it is. Or maybe they just believe that they've always owned it, they've never used it, they've allowed you to be there, whatever. So you believe your property boundary is there, they believe it's there. Now this involves the church, it involves the Smith family, it involves all property owners. So we enter into a quiet title suit. You sue everybody if you bring this suit. And you say, bring evidence of your interest to the court, we'll let the court decide. The church has no interest, they don't bring evidence. The Smiths have no interest, they don't bring evidence. The park and you bring your evidence to the court and the court decides. The court looks at it and says, you know what? Park, whoever owns that park, probably the municipality or county or whatever it might be, we're going to rule that your claim is invalid. All right? And we're going to put an item in the court record that says we're going to place this in there, recognizing officially that no, the boundary is not there. The boundary is right where the property owner thought it was. Now, remember, when you go to court, two things can happen. You could win or you could lose. And the third thing that happens, regardless if you win or lose, it's going to cost money and it's going to take time. But that's a quiet title suit. A court hearing to determine ownership, recognize valid claims, and quiet invalid claims, used to clear clouded title. My example of you guys aren't the owner, your aunt's the owner, and there's no official record that she passed away. That's a cloud on title, used to clear clouded title. Establishes ownership under adverse possession. So it's the same kind of suit that would be taken in an adverse possession claim. So a lis pendens, every real estate course is going to introduce you to the topic of a lis pendens. Lis pendens is just a Latin-esque, legal-esque word for a pending lawsuit. So since this affects property, they're going to record this lis pendens in the public record. So now, if you're a buyer and you want to buy a property and your title insurance company does a title search and they discover a lis pendens is filed on the property, a pending lawsuit involving the property, whoa, the brakes are going to go on. Wait a minute. Hold on. What's going on with this lawsuit? Then all parties with the claim must present evidence of that claim to the court. Now, one of the things I'm going to bring up with you here is this. I had another example of a quiet title suit. My brother received notice of a quiet title suit. And he had a piece of land that was up in a lake in northern Wisconsin, beautiful spot, Lake Shishibagama, up in outside of Minocqua, Wisconsin. And he received this notice, and he asked me, what about this notice? I said, oh, that's something down the road. Someone's having a boundary dispute. It was the county with the road and the property owner on a corner disputing a boundary. He says, what should I do? And I said, do nothing. If you don't have a claim, just do nothing. Don't show up. That means you're saying, I don't have a claim. See, all parties with the claim must present evidence of that claim in court. So you might get a quiet title suit notice. If you don't involve, you don't bring anything to the court. You have no claim to make. The court will then hear and judge the claims. The process recognizes valid claims and quiets the invalid claims. And as you can imagine, this can take quite a bit of time. So once the court order is recorded, the cloud on title is cleared. Quiet title suit.